And welcome back. A little bit different of a video for you today. It's not really a maintenance item, more of an item that most individuals would do. Not this item per se, but it's a mod that you would do. Most everybody does their vehicles, and that's going to be customization. So the individual that's going to receive this truck, and we spoke to her about this, and she picked out a couple of items. And what we're going to do is we're going to add these items, which are going to be additional decals right up underneath the trx4 logo that you see here. So it's going to be right about in this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the camera at this point. We're going to get the artwork in place, and then we're going to see if we can get this to set. Now, we did prep this area by cleaning it. I just used some standard glass cleaner. It does real good about removing oils and dirt and things of that nature. And to give you an idea, you may not be able to see it because this is the second pass, but it got off a pretty good amount of grime. The point is, to get these type of decals to apply, you want a nice, clean, dry surface. So we're going to get this prepped, and I'm going to bring you back. Thank you much. And welcome back. So there we go. Here's the first one, and don't worry, we'll show you this process on the other side. But you can see we've now got a little bit of custom artwork to go along with our off-road trx4. And yes, I know what you're thinking. You know, it's a truck. Well, I can tell you, I can tell you right now, the trucks aren't driven by just guys here, folks. Hey, and even if you were a guy driving a truck and you prefer this type of artwork on there, then, you know, to each their own. It's your vehicle. That's the point behind personalization of your vehicle. You do what you like to do to your vehicle, and other people will do like they do to their vehicle. But here's the first one. We figured that was a good placement. We had a nice section of real estate, as you can see, below the TRX emblem, and you ended up using the bottom line of the silver where it transitions into the darker gray as kind of the focal point for her feet. And you can see that it's pretty even on these. She's not exactly on that line, on that folded part of metal, but it's pretty close, and it ended up being a pretty good guideline to go off of. So that's what we're going to do on the opposite side. I'll show you how we kind of trimmed this up and started this. It's just a little bit painstaking, you know. Take your time with it, because you can see in this particular design you got a lot of fine detail around the eyes and the arms and such. And kind of as you're peeling it back, if you see a piece that doesn't stick to the chassis, just go over it with the little scraper they give you, a little extra hard, and kind of peel it back slowly until everything starts to stick. For areas you might get some air bubbles into this, like you see an air bubble, maybe you'll see the air bubble right here on the foot. What I'm finding that you can do, and the scraper came with this, in case you're wondering, this artwork came off of eBay, and I found out you can just take the scraper and hopefully, I don't know if you heard that pop, but you can kind of work the air bubbles to the edge and get them to come out, as you can see there. So I'm going to pause you. We're going to get set up on the other side, and I'll bring you back. Thank you much. And welcome back. So we've got our area prepped with our cleaner, just like we did to the opposite side. You can see the artwork here. We've gone through and trimmed it down and got rid of some of the excess. We've also come across the top and trimmed off a lot of the backing paper to expose this clear sheet of the top will eventually peel off. And the reason why we're doing that is when we get this lined up to where we want, we're going to take a piece of painter's tape, go across here, tape it to the bed of the truck, and that will allow us to kind of hinge the whole thing up and peel the rest of the backing paper out from underneath of it. And then slowly we'll put the white peel off sheet, and I'm sure this has probably got an actual art name to it, so forgive me. We'll slowly push that down with the scraper, and once we're ready, we'll peel off this top layer. But we're gonna go ahead and get this lined up and taped in place, and I'll bring you back. And welcome back. So you can see what we've done here. We went ahead and trimmed a little bit of the white backing off, got it roughly into the position where we needed it to try to make it match as close as we could to the other side, and just a little piece of painter's tape. So that's going to allow us to take the artwork, as you can see here, hinge it up, grab what's left of the this white backing paper, peel peel it off. And then what we'll do is, since we'll be left with the top piece and the artwork, we'll slowly come down this way with the scraper and start scraping this down and getting all this, all this you can see flush. You can see we got a lot of air bubbles in our white artwork here. So just grab the camera from the side so it doesn't mute the audio. Let me do this. Let me go get a small tripod and I'll bring you back. One moment. And welcome back. So I got you in a tripod here. I'm going to turn you over to a camera operator. And as you remember from the last shot, kind of got where we need to go. I'm just going to hinge this up, grab the white backing paper underneath as the first step. And just slowly peel this off. And what we want to make sure we do is that we get all this white backing paper off. Otherwise, the decal underneath won't stick properly to the paint. There we go. So now we got that off. All I'm going to do next is just holding tension on the bottom of this artwork, this top piece, slowly come into the truck, and I'm just going to work my way from top to bottom with the scraper, just working to try to get as much air, any air bubbles, out from underneath the artwork as we can. And again, I'm just continuing to hold tension on the bottom, at least until we get all of this down onto the paint. And then we'll come by and give it a bit more thorough scrubbing by kind of taking the edge of the card and make sure that we go over all the detail. This is one of those things that the more complicated the artwork, the more intricate the design, the more you just got to take your time with it. And I'm not a patient person. But I'm almost down to the bottom here. We almost have the bulk of it stuck, and again, just trying to work on keeping the air pockets out at a minimum. Making sure this stays nice and flat. Okay, we're down to her feet. Okay, so we've got it stuck to the truck at this point. Again, just kind of a rough pass. Her feet are roughly in the same spots down here at the bottom, just like we did on the other side, so we're looking good. Depending on how you look at it, it looks a bit crooked, but you got to understand, if you're looking at the wings and trying to use the wings to judge whether the image is straight, it's going to be hard to do because the wings are actually at an angle based on how she's turned. But all we're going to do now is just go through this like this, using the scraper, making sure that we pay nice close attention to the detail around the eyes. You can see there's an air bubble there, but that's in the piece we don't care about. That'll peel off. Now, as for how long this particular artwork is going to last, we'll know. We'll see. Everybody's environment is different. Outside elements in everybody's area is a little bit different as far as how much sun and how much wind and rain and cold weather that you get. That's the nice thing about these particular decals. They're easy, relatively easy to put on, easy to take off with a razor blade, and if they wear out, you just put new ones on. Now, just because we have one of these on, we know some of our problem areas. We're right here. We have these really fine lines that come up off of her fingers. This is the separation between her fingers. A hole around the sock. These little fine lines that make up the ridge of her nose and the corner of her eyes were a bit of a pain on the other one. And if you missed any of this white paper, if it happened to stick to the artwork and you didn't notice it, you'll find out when you go to peel it off, because the black part of the artwork in this case is going to want to come off with the top layer. It's a relatively cool day today too, so the vehicle is not at all hot to the touch. Okay, let's see what we got here. So now we can take our painter's tape off. This is why having a clean background before you start is also imperative, because if you had any oil or any grease or any dirt or grime on there, then obviously the artwork's not going to stick. You can see, okay, so we've got the tip of the wing starting here, and just kind of taking this slowly, peeling this back as evenly as we can. You can see here, okay, so we got some hair, that's part of our hair that's still sticking to our top piece. So we're just going to take our card. You don't have to get that close with the camera if you don't want to. And just continuing to kind of go over that area again. And then we'll peel it back, and you can see it's now sticking. So we can progress a little further. And now we're starting to get the other wing exposed.
Aye.
You got something coming off?
Yep, aye. Whatever that is.
That's part of the top bun of her hair.
You might want to pull off the face.
There we go. Okay, we got that one. So that's kind of what the process is going down the rest of the way. It's going to be kind of slowly pulling this at an even angle. If you see something peeling off that doesn't stick to the body of the vehicle, just put your white paper back up, go back over it with your little squeegee card or some kind of basically semi-rigid piece of plastic. Like, now this came with the artwork, and just go back over that area until it sticks and no longer sticks to the paper. But with that being said, we're going to continue to work on this, and we'll bring you back when it's done. Thank you much. As you can see, we're still progressing. We had an issue with the little line here that makes up her chin, and what I had to do on some of these, just because the lines are so fine, they're kind of hard to stick to the truck, is to just take my fingernail, get it to peel off of the backing ever so slightly, and then put the paper back up, and then use the tool to kind of push it back in place, and was finally able to get it to separate. But as you can see, we're just rolling this up as we go. And these bigger areas aren't too bad to deal with on this particular piece of artwork. It's when you start getting into the finer areas that we're getting ready to as we get closer down to the ends of her feet. So you can see that there. You can see that peeling back off that line that makes up her elbow, her arm. But that's a pretty big line. We should be able to get it to adhere here. There we go. We got it. Okay, yeah, that took. Yeah, it's just like we said before, just go slow. Especially the more elaborate. You can see right there, we got another piece that's sticking that makes up kind of the hole in our sock. There we go. That's now sticking. Oh, okay. You can see we got one of these really, really fine lines over here that make up our sock. We actually got two of them. So let's see if we can get these to stick and release, because what you're dealing with is that this backing paper, albeit it releases, it's still pretty sticky. Yeah, you can see it's not wanting to release from the paper. I mean, you could try a heat gun on it, I suppose. I wouldn't get too terribly hot. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try my last trick, and I'm just going to gingerly hit this with my fingernail and get it to break free of this paper. Yeah, that one's stuck on there pretty good. There we go. There we go. Curled up on me, but I think I can grab it. it curled. I think. Yeah, that line curled up on me. I'm not going to be able to straighten it, unfortunately. But let's see if that was enough to break the adhesion. Nope. There we go. There we go. Okay, yep, now it's against the body of the truck. Now what I'm going to do is, now that that line is broke free, I just want to continue on here. Take our card and just push that line in place. Okay, there we go. Okay, we got another one over here. And this is just these smaller detail lines. Getting in the shot there, you're seeing that you're getting this side of the paper though. Again, I'm just concentrating on some of these lines that make up the separation between their fingers. They were wanting to peel off the paper, as you can see this one right here is doing. Yeah, this is going to be another stubborn one. Really just stuck onto this backing paper. So again, I'm gonna have to work on this, but I need to get in there where you guys are at to get this piece to break free. But we're gonna continue to work on this, and I'll bring you back. Thank you much. And welcome back. So you can see that we've got it done here. Just had these couple problem areas down here at the bottom where these really fine lines are at, but as you saw in the previous video, we were able to kind of break them free manually from that top paper and then be able to get them to stick and peel the paper the rest of the way down. But there you go. Again, just one of those things. Just go slow with it. Take your time, and if you again see a piece that's lifting off, just put the paper back up and go back over it with your whatever you're using for the squeegee type device. So also real quick, we're just going to go ahead and change out these 4 hubcaps, and I'll show you that that's done, and then we'll conclude the video. I'll bring you back in a moment. Bye. And welcome back. As advertised, we're going to put in our replacement hubcaps or lug nut covers or whatever you want to call them. This is the new one. Remember, it's matte black instead of being like a gloss black. But for full closure, I wanted to show you doing this one, because if you remember, this is the one when we were doing the front brake service that somebody chowdered up to threads for the mounting Allen screws that hold this cover in place. So just want to show you what I was doing here. This ended up being a number 6 fine thread, M6 fine thread metric, and just running a thread chaser through it, and all I'm doing is running the thread chaser in till it hits a little bit of resistance like it does right there. And actually, this has been chased far enough the bolt will fit now, but just to show you what I'm doing, I'll put a couple of turns on it. Now, not hard. Now, once it really starts to firm up, which I think we're at the bottom of our tap, or bottom of our threaded portion at this point. And once it started to firm up, then just immediately back it out. And that'll pull some of the debris out as it was cleaning up those threads. Okay. Hole looks clean, and now what we should be able to do is take our cover. Again, if you remember, most of these are just on there for show. They don't actually fasten this thing in place. And then we can take our cover, put it in there, and then we should be able to, let me see if I can get you in here to see this. Should be able to now put our Allen screw in and get this thing to tighten up. Okay, let's see. Hold you and the camera, and cover at the same time. There we go. We take our Allen fastener. Our Allen key. It helps if you've got a long Allen key. There we go. Okay, so we're threading in nicely now. Much, much better. So that is hand tight at this point. We can put our other one in. There's our hole. Nope, that missed. That missed, that missed. Let me loosen this one up a little bit. There we go. So we can get that to fall out. Sorry. Like I said, it's hard to hold this into the shot and get this to line up at the same time. There we go. That's what we need right there. Okay, it feels like that's seated. There we go. Now you don't have to go full tight on this. Snug is more than enough to hold these caps in place. Because what we don't want to do is go so tight on this that you distort this cover again, and then as heat cycles get to it, they fall out of shape and this center cap starts to fall out. Because just like on our other ones, you see very little effort and you can push that centerpiece out. And this one's not as bad, but it's got a pretty good bow to it. Hopefully you can see where, you know, this side, just like on the other ones, is significantly higher than this one. And if you notice, right where that bend is at is right where the two mounting screws are for this. So since it's only being held in two spots, if you crank down too hard on the Allen screws for these rings, there's the I was trying to get the GoPro display to come back. If you crank down too hard on it, it distorts this cover, and over time it holds on to that shape. So with that being said, we're going to work on getting the other three put back in. And if you ask me better, I think the matte black look on this rim actually looks better than the gloss covers did. Anyway, that's just me. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe out the other remainder, the other three. The nice thing is on the other three, we don't have to thread chase any more of them. It was just this one that was damaged. With that being said, go ahead and take care of the other three, and I'll bring you back. Thank you much. And welcome back. So you can see that we've got our caps on all three of our wheels. Artwork is done on both sides of the vehicle. And with that will conclude this rather short and slightly different video on this one. Not as much dedicated towards maintenance on this one, but again, personalization of a vehicle. It's one of those things. Everybody does it to one degree or another. And with that being said, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, continuing to grow the channel, because again, as you know, this vehicle, once it's complete, is going to be donated / given away. You know, take your choice of adjective. The owner, when they receive it, is not going to owe anything towards any of the parts, any of the labor, or even the vehicle itself. Like I said, it's a complete donation. But everybody who watches these videos and subscribe to the channel are a part of that. That's what makes these types of events possible. The more subscribers we can get translates to more views. More views translates to, you know, better advertisement revenue, better channel growth. And again, like I said before, it's all a big domino effect. So the more views we can get out there, the more channel subscribers we can get out there, the more we can do these types of events. And it doesn't even have to be, you know, a complete vehicle giveaway. You know, we can start doing things such as, you know, doing maintenance for individuals in need that maybe they need something done to their vehicle in order to go to work, but they can't afford to take it to a full-on shop. You know, those type of things are some of the other items that we're looking into and things that we would like to get into. But with that being said, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so, and I'll bring you back for the next one. And one last shot here, and I'll talk to you next one. Thank you much.